Drishti IAS is pleased to revise its special program Mastering Mains Answer Writing, targeting answer writing in UPSC and State Services Main Examination. We will be alternatively covering GS Papers 1, 2 and 3 through this program. For GS Paper 4, please watch our program Ethics, Definitions and Concepts. The link for it is mentioned in the description below. So, what is the structure of the program? We begin by looking at a question, then narrow it down to the syllabus and assess the weightage of the topic. Then we learn on how to approach the question, structure the answer, and then write the actual answer. We finally conclude the episode by looking at questions asked in the previous year examinations. Let us see the question which we will be discussing today. Despite the ideal principle of peaceful coexistence of the Panchsheel Agreement, India and China have failed to settle their border dispute. Discuss. The question can be narrowed down to international relations, that is part of GS Paper 2. The importance of this topic over the years can be assessed from the graph that has been displayed. Now we shift towards how to approach the question. In general, there are two things we must understand with respect to a question. A. The underlying theme of the question, and B. What is or are being asked about that theme. Let us look at the question again. Despite the ideal principle of peaceful coexistence of the Panchsheel Agreement, India and China have failed to settle their border dispute. Discuss. The underlying theme of this question is India-China relations. About this theme, we have to discuss the India-China relations in the context of Panchsheel Agreement and border disputes. To answer the given question, let us first understand the meaning of the command word discuss. Discuss broadly means to cover an all-encompassing answer, highlighting both positive and the negative aspects of the theme. Solutions and remedies can also be suggested. Moving towards how to structure the answer. The first part of the answer will be the introduction of the answer, which will include a brief description of the Panchsheel Agreement. The second part of the answer, that is the body, includes India-China relations in context of border disputes. And lastly, in our conclusion, we will suggest some measures to resolve these disputes. Now, we try to write the actual answer. But before we commence, we would like to make it clear that the answer provided here is a representative answer. That is how the actual answer may look like. It can be adapted or modified as per your own natural style of writing, whether paragraph form or short sentences or bullets or diagrams. We have also taken certain liberties with the word limit by including certain additional information in the answer for your comprehensive understanding. So, without much ado, let us write. India and China signed the Panchsheel Agreement in 1954 for a peaceful coexistence. It marked the apogee of the Hindi-Chini Bhai Bhai policy. The 5 principles as stated in the agreement are listed as mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty, mutual non-aggression, mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs, equality and mutual benefit, and peaceful coexistence. Even after the Panchsheel Treaty, there was a war in 1962. And despite the dialogue, there was another war in 1967. Also, the border disputes in Western Ladakh and Eastern Arunachal Pradesh sectors are present even today. Some of the major reasons for non-resolution of the border dispute are mentioned below. The 1962 war resulted in China acquiring control of Aksai Chin. The war created mistrust in the minds of Indians against China, which is still present. Besides, the Chinese claims of Arunachal Pradesh and Aksai Chin undermines India's sovereignty. China's intrusion near the borders in the eastern sector can hamper the Chicken Neck Corridor, which is a narrow passage between the northeast and the rest of India. The competing territorial claims by the two countries have been internalized by the public in both the countries. The two countries are also gripped by a strong streak of nationalism. All these make give and take vital in the resolution of such vexatious disputes extremely difficult. Further, the expansionist policies of China like String of Pearls, CPEC passing through the POK as part of Belt and Road Initiative, the Doklam standoff, etc., and the recent confrontation at Pangong have made the situation all the more difficult for India. Now, moving on to the initiatives taken by these two countries to maintain peace at the borders. Meeting of the special representatives to intensify efforts in boundary negotiations. The Border Management and Cooperation Agreement consists of a list of mutually agreed provisions to resolve the issue of peace at the line of actual control. Confidence-building measures to enhance border security. The informal summits in the form of Wuhan Spirit and Chennai Connect, where both the sides resolved to prudently manage their differences. They agreed to set up a ministerial level mechanism to boost trade and investment and work towards deepening defense and security ties. The Corps Commander level talks during current conflict in Galwan Valley have managed to break the stalemate between India and China. India and China recently announced an agreement for disengagement on the north and south bank of Pangong Tso to cease their forward deployments in a phased, coordinated and verified manner. Shifting to the last part of our answer, the conclusion. South Asia is considered the least integrated neighborhood. India and China, being the major powers in the region, can show a way forward by an efficient resolution of their border dispute. To begin with, the armed forces of the two countries can withdraw 20 kilometers from the McMahon line in the east and from the line up to which each side exercises actual control in the west. Recognition of mutual respect, mutual sensitivities, and mutual interest is key to repairing relations between India and China. Now we look at the questions asked in the previous year examinations. In 2019, the following questions were asked. The time has come for India and Japan to build a strong contemporary relationship, one involving global and strategic partnerships that will have a great significance for Asia and the world as a whole. Comment. The long-sustained image of India as a leader of the oppressed and marginalized nations has disappeared on account of its newfound role in the emerging global order. Elaborate. What introduces friction into the ties between India and the United States is that Washington is still unable to find for India a position in its global strategy, which would satisfy India's national self-esteem and ambition. Explain with suitable examples. In 2018, the following questions were asked. India's relations with Israel have of late acquired a depth and diversity which cannot be rolled back. Discuss. A number of outside powers have entrenched themselves in Central Asia, which is a zone of interest to India. Discuss the implications in the context of India joining the Ashgabat Agreement of 2018. India and the USA are two large democracies. Examine the basic tenets on which the two political systems are based. In 2017, the following questions were asked. China is using its economic relations and positive trade surplus as tools to develop potential military power status in Asia. In the light of this statement, discuss its impact on India as her neighbor. The question of India's energy security constitutes the most important part of India's economic progress. Analyze India's energy policy cooperation with West Asian countries. In 2016, the following questions were asked. Evaluate the economic and strategic dimensions of India's Look East policy in the context of the post-Cold War international scenario. Increasing cross-border terrorist attacks in India and growing interference in the internal affairs of member states by Pakistan are not conducive for the future of SAARC. Explain with a suitable example. In 2015, the following questions were asked. Increasing interest of India in Africa has its pros and cons. Critically examine. Terrorist activities and mutual distrust have clouded India-Pakistan relations. To what extent the use of soft power like sports and cultural exchanges could help generate goodwill between the two countries. Discuss with suitable examples. In 2015, the following question was asked. With respect to the South China Sea, maritime territorial disputes and rising tension affirm the need for safeguarding maritime security to ensure freedom of navigation and ever flight throughout the region. In this context, discuss the bilateral issues between India and China. In 2013, the following question was asked. What do you understand by the string of pearls? How does it impact India? Briefly outline the steps taken by India to counter this. With this, we conclude today's episode of Mastering Mains Answer Writing. Until next time, stay safe and thank you. To watch our videos in Hindi, subscribe to our Hindi YouTube channel Drishti IAS.